That's right. So I am here today with Megan Foster of Providence Hill Realty. Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I don't know how to follow that up. I'm Megan. Megan Foster, Providence Hill. Been in real estate for, I think, 4 years. Maybe this is my 4th year. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's it?
I guess.
Okay. All right. So what did you do before that?
Everything. Just about. I was actually working at Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
I basically got into real estate because nothing else worked out.
Yeah.
Like, literally. Everything else just fell apart. And my dad was in real estate. And then my husband's in lending. So I think between the two of them kind of chatting in the back of my airspace, like, you should try real estate. I was like, all right, fine. I don't have another option. So I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah. Okay. So you were a nurse at one point, right? So I went to nursing school.
Yes.
Never finished. Like I said, that's one of those things. Didn't work out. Nope.
Didn't work out.
I still have a passion for
Is it because you killed too many people during training? Is that what happened?
No.
I'm just asking. Pushed the wrong meds?
No.
You know, like oopsie?
Oh,
Did you have some oopsies?
Lord, no.
I mean, I'm not saying I could see that happening, but I'm just saying.
No. So I worked in the ER at St. Mary's for 3 years, and I was a little scribe. You'd go into the rooms with the doctors and help them write up their charts, evaluate the patients and stuff. And so that was, and I did that to make sure that, before I went back to school again, that was actually what I wanted to do and all that. And I don't know if I think it was a perfect storm. The school that I went to, it just didn't work out. I think that was a mutual breakup.
Breakup.
Being honest. And then I was like, well, that didn't work out. I was actually in a really rough spot, and I was like, I need a job though. So here we go, Starbucks. And then just Starbucks. If you want to feel humbled, go be a barista.
Yeah. All the things.
Seriously, all the things.
Yeah. And people in their wild and crazy orders.
Yeah. And I
like Courtney.
Iced chai tea latte with light ice.
Oh, that is completely normal. That's acceptable. And I thought that I had seen all shades of people from back in my early 20s bartending days. So I was like, oh, nothing phases me. Seeing someone at their worst when they are stone cold sober is interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, and then I would be the opening shift in the mornings there, and then would go home and do my little class online, get your 60 hours to get my real estate license and pass the exam, and then had to adult.
had to adult. Yes. How old were you when you got your license?
I think 30.
Is that a question or a statement?
I don't know. I think 30. Yeah, 30 years old.
So what was it like when you first started, right? Because you go through school.
Yeah.
And they teach you how to, how many square feet are in an acre.
Yeah. It teaches you nothing about what you actually need to know. It is trial by you just figure it out. And I think you always figure it out. I'm still figuring it out.
Sure.
But
you get out of school and then all of a sudden it's all the money, right? Because you got to pay for all your dues and fees and stuff like that just out the gate.
Yeah.
And on a 1099.
Yeah.
As a 1099 employee, so to speak, right?
That's really hard.
Yeah.
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 Really, really hard. But that can be the biggest motivator too.
Sure.
I need to pay for things, so
need things.
Gotta get some transactions in. Yeah.
That's right. How long before you had your first client?
I think my first one was a neighbor. Yeah. It was a neighbor, and she was renting in our neighborhood, and she needed to, like, her landlord was going to, like, I don't know what happened, but she had to leave. I think it was 4 months, like 3 or 4 months after I'd like gotten my license, like after Deport had posted it. Yeah.
What was those first 3 or 4 months like? I mean, were they stressful?
They were stressful. I was still trying to work at Starbucks too. So, you know, so it was a little less scary, I guess.
Sure.
But then it just became like something had to give, like because like they'll work you for minimum wage. Like,
yeah, that's right.
They're gonna get their $12 an hour out of you. But I mean, they have really good benefits, and I joke, but it really is a good company to work for. But I had to just make a choice and make it, because my mentality, I noticed, was still kind of I was kind of acting like still like the kid that was trying to figure it out, instead of like, you need to step up and actually be this person that you do this for yourself. So yeah, and then I left, and then it really got scary once I wasn't even getting like any little baby Starbucks paycheck.
Right,
I was there, and like no benefits, no like health benefits. I was like, oh, okay, we're in it. We're in it now. Like, all right. Yeah.
Leaving the house in bubble wrap because you didn't have healthcare benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, were you single, married?
I was with we weren't married, but like we were living together.
Okay. Yeah. So was it like, hey, need you to pay for some things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I give him a hard time a lot, but he's been definitely been the helping hand.
Has there ever, you don't have to answer it, but it can be stressful in a relationship when you're making that transition, right?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm tired of working all the time, paying the bills. Like, you need to figure this out or find something else.
Yeah.
So did y'all ever go through that?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's weird too, because, as a 1099, like, I don't technically have to show up somewhere 9 to 5.
Sure.
So in that took a while for me to also learn to like how to structure my days, because it's like, I feel like when you first get your license, it's like, okay, great, got my license. Where's all the deals?
Yeah, that's right.
Like
that's right.
Staring at my phone,
like Pokemon Go, right? You just gotta just drive around, find the Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
Find the deals.
So it's like, all right, well, how do I actually like break it down day to day? Like, like what do you do? What's the best use of my time? What's the best use of the little bit of money that I was getting coming in? In this business, you got to spend money to make money, and
that's what they say.
Yeah. So that was definitely challenging. I can just be on my phone and be working, or like even be on Instagram and be working. Yeah. And Colin's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm working.
You're just over there scrolling Facebook.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's, I think a lot of people struggle with that when they decide, for lack of better words, you're self-employed. I mean, you have a brokerage, but you're a 1099. You're self-employed, right? We can dive down the rabbit hole of my thoughts on 1099 and being responsible to a brokerage and all that, but it is what it is, right? And it doesn't matter, home inspector, trades, baker, but when you decide that, hey, I'm going to do this on my own and be self-employed, a lot of people don't realize what all goes into that.
Right.
Because like I said, you got to figure out your structure.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this year, like I said, we just moved into this office. I've been in this office more this year than I was all last year because I'm just not as productive as home. Because I want to watch Netflix and Hulu and go to the kitchen 900 times and
take care of those chores you don't actually want to do.
Not get out of my pajamas. So I just don't get anything done. Some people can. But the dog wants to go out 47 times.
Yeah.
So, I come here and get more things done.
Yeah.
If you want to actually progress the business.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people underestimate that part of it. Like I said, it's got my license. Selling Hollywood makes it look easy.
Yeah.
All the deals is going to come to me.
Yeah.
And then you quickly realize, and it's just like, you don't notice a car until you buy a car, and then every car you see on the road is your car, right? It's the same thing. You don't realize how many agents are out there until you get your license, and now all of a sudden you look around like, well, everybody's an agent.
Yeah.
How do I get my slice of the pie?
Yeah.
So
that's been a really frustrating, I shouldn't say frustrating. It's just been like a learning part, something for me to have to like figure out a way to navigate, I guess.
Yeah.
'Cause like I didn't grow up here, so I didn't go to school with, people that are living here. Like people's parents don't know me from childhood because we used to play together, so, and I feel like that's how a lot of people that are native to Richmond are able to kind of get like their business or foot in the door or, stuff like that. I'd call so-and-so because like he went to school with my son or he went to school with my daughter, so that's been a bit of a challenge. I'm trying to rephrase how I say things.
Okay.
That's been a bit of a fun thing to overcome. There you go.
Okay. All right. What's the rationale for that?
So it's like positive thinking and
Sure.
all that stuff.
See, I go to bed every night. I'm like, tomorrow's going to be better. I will be positive, and I'm not going to be negative.
Yeah.
I'm going to be nice to people. And I'm good. Like Courtney's looking at me. I'm good. And I'll do this at night because it gives me a good 8 hours of like solid head start on this, right? And then,
That's a good idea.
if I wake up
like
at
that.
5, I'll go to the gym. And by like 5:23, I've already had, angry thoughts at somebody in the gym.
Yeah.
So it's over for the day. So
Yeah.
it just snowballs from there.
It's a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you go to the gym every day?
Not every day, because I'm old and tired.
Yeah.
So
Break easy.
yeah. So between the gym and then jujitsu, right? I try to do
That's right,
on average of 3 days at jujitsu, and I'll try to do about 3 days, lifting, functional training, whatever. But there's just some days just everything hurts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, I try to.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think I've been trying to do more of like work that into the routine of the day too. Because you never know who you might meet, you know, like at the gym or just like on walks with the dog, like just do something, like for yourself, prioritize that too.
Yeah.
Cause then chaos comes,
That's
you
right.
know, and
That's right. Yeah. I go through phases where I'll wake up at 4 a.m. wide awake. So it's easy. And then I'll go through a couple weeks where like I can't move until 6:30.
Yeah.
The alarm goes off. So,
Yeah.
it's a me problem.
Yeah.
So it ebbs and flows, but some days are easier than others. But
Yeah.
I mean, going to the gym, for me, it's resulted in business.
Yeah.
Because you get, especially going to the jiu-jitsu academy.
Where you get to like talk and
Yeah, I've gotten quite a few inspections of getting to know people there and whatnot. So, so that's the the saying, you always be marketing, right? Always be networking. We went obviously when the rate shot up almost 2 years ago. July will be 2 years, and then last year every agent, most agents I talked to talked about how slow they were. And then when the rates hit about 8%, in the summer ish. I went out and just did all the marketing and networking things, and we stayed pretty consistent for the back half of the year. And there were several inspectors that didn't. A couple of them went out of business.
It was hard.
A couple of them kept complaining about how slow it was. Went to an secret inspector meeting in September.
Yeah.
And that's all anybody complained about. But at the same time, like one guy sitting at my table was complaining about how he doesn't understand how multi-inspector companies are still in business because of how slow it was.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing inspections for 30 years in Metro Richmond. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. And I was like, well, that's probably why.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not doing the things you need to do.
Right.
And when you've been doing it for that long, your agent pool is retiring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're not out there marketing to newer, younger agents, you're just going to fade away.
Yeah.
So it's really easy, but it was hard, you know. But you know, I told everybody the business is out there. You just got to work harder for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, instead of 30 cents for every dollar you make, maybe it's 50, 60 cents for every dollar you make.
Right.
But you just still got to work for it.
Right.
So speaking of that, how was your last year? How was it when all that?
Yeah, my last year was pretty slow, honestly. Like things are coming back with a vengeance right now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. But they were really slow for me, fall and winter.
Yeah.
Particularly because, like you said, rates hit a point. It was hard for a lot of people.
I saw a team leader post stats that last year was pretty much on par with how many houses sold nationally as in 2008. Mm-hmm. It was like 4.15 versus 4.24 or something like that. Very, very close.
Yeah.
And that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty wild that it had gone to that point, you know.
Yeah. We're starting to see what's really fun. So the whole time that I've been in real estate, like negotiations weren't really a thing. Mm-hmm. It was kind of just like, especially on the buy side, like just submit your best offer plus your big toe and your left arm. Like, I don't know. And
wave all the things.
Yeah.
Wave all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's very interesting to you can actually negotiate things out, like in several different, stages of the transaction. So that's kind of cool. So
let's talk about that for a second, because that's one of the things we talk about is there were so many agents that came up in the COVID years, right? Because it was easy, right? That they never negotiated anything.
Yeah.
Right. It's, the phones rang, life was easy, ish. But when it came to the deals, like I said, highest and best, this is what you got to do to win it. Everybody waived all the things, appraisals and termites and home inspections and all the things. And then it started to shift. And then one of the things that we've seen is agents who never really got that training to negotiate, right? And I'd hear it from, experienced agents, like, got this other agent, they've been on for 3 years, but yet they've never negotiated. And it's just a pain. Right. Or agents that still just advise their clients, right, because they don't want to negotiate, because that was the mindset, right? That was the standard. We don't really need a home inspection. There's agents that's never done a home inspection, even to this day.
That's so wild.
And so how did you overcome all that? Because the few times we've worked together, like you're pretty, like you actually care about your clients,
Thanks. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So was that just did you have to seek out training? I mean, advice, mentorship?
Yeah. So I am I'm on a team, Brooke Barnard's team. And she has been really phenomenal she's been in it for like 12 or 13 years, something like that. And she's just been very helpful at telling me, not like telling me what to do, but telling me like, you can do this, or you can do this, or you can do this. Make the best decision based on what your client wants. Right. And kind of walking me through, because I only know what I know. Like, I don't know how situations could potentially be handled if I haven't been in that situation before yet. So she's really good at kind of like coaching me, guiding me through situations and based on her experience and what she's seen in the past. And then, I mean, there's always opportunities to grow and to learn and to go to trainings like Buffini trainings, ninja installations. RAR's always having classes too, so just trying to do all of those things, and it's hard sometimes because it's not the stuff that, and especially for me, like classroom just isn't my thing.
Sure.
So it takes a little bit of an extra like push for me to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But it always benefits the client, and I really do like this is for them. Like this is their house. This is their decision. And that's my only role is to like coach them through that.
Right.
Like, but I do know some agents that I don't want to say I don't know. It's just like some agents let their ego get in the way, or I don't really know what it is, but it just seems like it becomes their transaction instead of their clients, and it's
that's a good way of putting
frustrating.
It is, right? I was doing a walkthrough not too long ago, and the agent was on the phone with another client getting ready to submit an offer, and well, if you want to submit an offer in this house, you need to waive the home inspection. Like, yeah, but we're not really doing that right now. Like that's the first piece of advice out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And that I think that goes to what you're saying. It makes the like there's no secret that we are the biggest roadblock.
Yeah.
In closing, right? I mean, once you get the pre-approval and you start underwriting, there's a lot of issues there, and there's a lot of reasons why a deal can fall apart, but everybody holds their breath at the home inspection.
Right.
So I get it, right? We create everybody's problems.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just fascinating to me that, this is somebody's $400,000.
Right.
And there's a potential that you're going to saddle them with $10, $20, $30, $50,000 worth of problems that they don't know about, because it makes getting the closing easier if you don't have to negotiate it or talk them off the ledge or whatever the case is. So it's really been fascinating to see how some agents just haven't done that shift into out of the COVID mindset, of this is what it is, to straight, for the last 18 months, still just waiving inspections and appraisal gaps and all the things.
We've gotten away with doing, getting inspections, but having, like, if the roof is older, then just advising the client, like, hey, you might have to pay a little bit more on your home insurance, but like, if like the roof looks fine,
sure.
you crawl all up in the attic. So I mean, you can kind of write it to be where both parties win.
I've learned talking to agents that the really good agents never waived inspections, or at least 90% of the time they didn't, right? And they still got clients in homes. Yeah. I mean, there's always there's a couple that'll just get fed up and like, we're waiving, right? Yeah. Versus agents that have like, I haven't done an inspection in 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
We've done a couple where they's like, this is the first time I've done one. Like, man, we haven't.
Yeah.
Wow, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Why are we still doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's back to a small degree.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing that a little bit, depending on the area and whatnot.
Right.
But, fun fact of the day: there's 2 states that's got legislation proposed to protect the buyer's inspection, meaning you're not allowed to waive, or the seller's not allowed to prevent the buyer from getting a home inspection.
California,
New York, and Massachusetts.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
We're hoping it passes.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes a domino effect, right? Especially in a buyer beware state, which is mind-boggling, right?
Yeah.
Not mandatory.
Yeah.
Just if you want a home inspection, you have a right to a home inspection. You can negotiate 3 days, 5 days, under $500.
Yeah.
$5,000, whatever, but you have a right to get a home inspection.
Yeah.
we're seeing homes now that come on the market that they waived and they never got one, and it's fun for everybody.
I bet.
It's fun for everybody.
I always tell people to get, like, if you have to, because I mean, sometimes, you know, if the client really wants the house and the seller does, like, and that's the one thing that the seller will not accept if you want an inspection.
Because if they got 10 offers and 3 of them are waiving.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like I always say, get the home inspection when you move in, like just so that you know, and then anything.
Just because you don't know it's not there doesn't mean it's not there, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be more expensive later on,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like if I was a seller and you said, "Hey, I'm waiving home inspection," done, right? Like we're good, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't begrudge the sellers by any means, you know, and the list agents, because again, it's less headaches. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting to get that perspective of switching that mindset, because you started when all that was going on, and there's so many agents that just kept that mindset.
Yeah,
it's
very
that's their go-to.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, what else are you into?
Like when I'm not working.
Yeah.
My dog. Yeah.
How old are you again?
Yeah, right. She's a mess. We don't have kids yet, so right now the dog's the child.
Yeah. Sensing a pattern here.
Yeah. Yeah. She, I mean, she's my little activity buddy. She'll go on runs with me and all that.
Yeah.
And I coach VCU club field hockey, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Yep. We're undefeated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, like this season. Yeah.
Yeah. Not forever.
Not forever.
Okay, just a season. Okay.
That's VCU's football team.
Right.
Yeah. I also play in an adult league. So it's been fun to get back into. Realize how my body doesn't move that way anymore as easily. But it's still fun.
Yeah. Wait till you hit 40.
What?
Wait till you hit 40.
Great. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowhere to go but up. Good.
That's right.
Good.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I was laying on the floor one day in here, and Logan came in. He's like, "What's your problem?" I said, "I can't move." Class last night. He says, "Golf is less hurtful on your body."
Yeah.
Like, nah, we're good. I like choking people. It's fun.
We'll stick to the hard stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The things that destroys your body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. So, what's some of your challenges now?
Biggest challenge now, I think, would be the commission chats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Let's.
Yeah. 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 So we're recording this, I don't know, a few days after the settlement news for NAR, that they settled a lawsuit. And everybody has put in their 2 cents in all these mastermind groups of what that means and what it doesn't mean. And it's gone everything from every buyer's agent ever is going to be eliminated to nothing's going to change, business as usual.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I think I am hoping that this is just like a phase that people are going to try. And I mean, like, if you're selling me something, I'm probably just to try, I'm going to ask you for a little bit off, right?
Sure.
Like, that's just how people are. So I don't take it personally. And, but like my thing too, is if we keep going down in commission, like you give someone an inch, they're going to try to take a mile
100%.
eventually, so, if we start doing that now, chipping away from it, like when does it stop?
Yeah.
And I think too, what people don't realize is that my brokerage, like there's so many things that I have to pay out. Like I don't get to keep 3%, so like I have to pay out my brokerage first, and then I have to pay out, if you're on a team, you have to pay the team lead first, second. And just the materials that go into marketing a property, when you list it, like I'm a 1099, so like my health insurance, you know, like it's not covered by the brokerage, you know, like there's just a lot.
They don't give you a gas card.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, no company vehicles.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of things that we pay for that people don't realize.
Yeah, and people will say like that stuff, well, it's tax write-offs, right? It's fine, it's tax write-off. But as a business, because that's what you are, right? As a 1099, it's not like you get a return on that. That money's still gone. It just reduces your tax liability. It doesn't increase your tax return. It just reduces your tax liability.
Yeah.
So instead of paying $2,000, you get to pay $1,000.
Right.
You know, but as a business, the government doesn't turn around and say, "Hey, business, you overpaid. Here's some money." It's just sucks to be you.
Yeah.
Right? So that money's still gone.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of how it goes.
Yeah.
I think, and this is my opinion, watching things from afar, but you brought up the point of where all your money goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think agents have been their own worst enemy in all of this.
Yeah.
When you post, I sold 13 million last year.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah. Because it sounds great, right? It sounds like I'm super successful.
But I think you make too much money, right? I don't know what that means, but it sounds like that you get a lot of money from that, right? And this is just as a general public, just looking at that, like,
yeah,
you know. And then it's you don't need 6%. Okay, well I don't get 6%, I get 3%. We don't need 3%. Right. Well, out of that 3%, I get 1%. You know, so nobody, and that's all you see. All I've seen over the last few days is that 6% number, right? Yeah. So now people are starting to break down like, well, 6% on 300,000 is this much. 6% on 800,000 is this much. Is there a difference in the work you do? All the things that are coming out. And again, I just think it's just being your own worst enemy. Yeah. And we're all guilty of that. Yeah. It's
a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Realtors are just in the spotlight for that right now. Yeah. So you just didn't help the cause at all. Yeah. Because people get mad. And COVID, whether this was a product of COVID or not, but when people are buying houses and they're waiving all the things and they're in a house they're not happy with and they realize they had to pay 6% and all the things, you know, it just creates bad taste in people's mouths.
Yep. If you're in a house that you're not happy with, though, you shouldn't have put in the offer. Like,
sure.
So there's like, you know, I mean, I try to do a good job of coaching my clients through stuff like we always joke that we wish we had a crystal ball for A, rates, but B, to like read the client's mind. Cause it's hard. And especially when it's super competitive, for buyers, it's happened, you know, like they get really caught up in the moment and then they make the offer and then the offer gets accepted and then they have buyer's remorse, and buyer's remorse is just a thing. Like, so that's what I always tell my buyers, and not to be too freaked out by it, but, and cause I've never had a buyer that's been miserable with their house, like after they've moved in, like after the fact. But I mean, I think where all of this kind of started is with the commissions is, agents weren't, and I don't know what the reasoning behind it was, but agents weren't having those conversations, just pausing to take the time to explain numbers to people.
How it works.
Like, yeah. And cause I mean, I've heard that, from sellers that have used agents in the past say they didn't explain that to me. They just threw this agreement in front of me and told me to sign it. And I saw 6%, but I thought that meant the seller's agent got 6%. Yeah. And so I have, and my firm is really good about, you know, walking us through this stuff too, and just reminding us like, we're all kind of in a rush, like just humans in general, but just take the time, slow down, and just explain it to people.
And that's from my understanding, that's what happened. And I guess it really happened in the Midwest. It was just not a lot of explaining on where the money goes and why it goes there, or that it's actually negotiable.
Right.
We don't want to admit that it's negotiable, right? Because we don't want to negotiate, what we're getting paid. But it is very much negotiable. Yeah. But none of that was ever explained, from my understanding. Yeah. And then, one person started talking to another person that started talking to another person and realized, they felt like they got, swindled.
Like done over. Yeah. The frustrating thing too, though, is like, and again, sometimes I've had sellers say, would you consider 2.5 for you and then 2.5 for the other? And I'm like, I mean, I would, but what don't you want me to do for you? Like, I can work for cheaper, but you'll probably need all the things that I can get for you. And like, I work real hard for that 3%.
And again, I mean, it's about breaking down, where does that money actually go? Like, like I'm not losing 0.5%. I'm losing more than that because everybody still gets theirs before I get mine. Because we get the same thing, like, hey, can you do it for this much? All right, well, which tool do you want me to leave home?
Yeah.
I mean, which thing do you not want me to do today?
Yeah.
Or we show up and we'll have an agent like, hey, can you do this in an hour? Sure. When I'm done, I'm done.
Gosh, an hour.
Well, can you do it all? No. So if I get through 3 rooms, then we're done at 3 rooms, right? I mean, so you let me know which part of the house you don't want me to inspect.
You should make a reel about that.
I will.
Just jumping from room to room, like done.
Yeah. So it's really, really interesting, all of it. It's gonna be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's gone everywhere from no more agents to nothing's going to change. Yeah. And I think there'll be some changes. There's going to be more conversations, more questions,
I wonder too if like this isn't anywhere. I don't think this will happen in the near future, but I wonder if like at some point sellers will pay for the seller's agent and then buyers will pay. That's just how it's going to be for the buyer's agent commission.
I think a lot of it is all semantics to begin with.
Yeah.
Because the buyer's the one financing the 6% for 30 years, right? So the buyer's the one giving the money. Yes, it's coming out of the seller's proceed, but it's all connected. So in a way, right? Can't have one without the other. Yeah. I think, and I guess there's got to be some laws that's got to be changed, that when the money gets dispersed, then 3% just comes off the top straight to the buyer's agent before it goes to the seller. That makes the most sense to me. You got a $300,000 loan for a house. You go to closing, $3,000 off the top goes straight to the buyer. The rest goes to the seller, and then the seller pays their agent from that. I mean, I don't know. My understanding is there's some laws to prevent that from happening right now.
Yeah.
But with just any type of change, rules change as well. So, because I was told, maybe buyer's agents go to a la carte, right?
Yeah.
Flat fees. If you want me to open doors for you, it's going to be this much. If you want me to write contracts, it's going to be this much. You want a total package, it's going to be this much. And I was like, well, that's against NAR's code of ethics. Well, yeah, until they start losing money. Right? And then rules change.
Until push comes to shove,
because we see that in every industry.
Yeah.
We don't believe in this. And then money gets tight. Like, hey, remember that thing we didn't believe in? We believe in it now.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what will happen. Maybe it won't. But rules do change to accommodate the situations when they start seeing that it was an overcorrection, for things.
I wonder too if buyers will, and again, laws will have to change, if they'll be able to roll some of the closing costs and like commissions into the loan.
Yeah.
If buyers have to pay for closing costs as well as the buyer's agent's 3%, first time home buyers are not, it's already competitive.
Yeah.
It's just boxing them out.
And then you get those agent or those buyers, like because we're not going to fix the inventory issue anytime soon.
Yeah.
So you're still going to have those houses in those areas that have 10, 15 offers.
Right.
What's going to happen when you have those that go unrepresented because they can't afford it?
Right.
Going up against those that are represented, who's the list agent going to push for?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'd rather work with an agent than somebody on their own.
Exactly.
You know, because, if the seller says 3% is 3%, I don't care what you do with it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather work with an agent.
Right.
Than not.
Yeah.
Because it's just more headaches.
Yeah.
Right. So then that turns into less buyers, which affects the housing market.
Yeah.
Which affects the economy.
Yeah.
Because as the housing market
just
goes,
a whole,
is how the economy goes.
Yeah.
So, I think that's when you start seeing legislation gets pushed through a little bit faster on changing some of those rules.
Yeah.
If there's cracks in the housing market.
Yeah.
So it's good times.
Good times.
Good times to be alive.
As always.
Yes. So, we 4 years in.
Yep.
So how you feeling about everything now?
I feel good about it.
Good.
I mean, even despite the inspiring conversation about commissions we just had.
Yeah.
No, I feel good about it. And I think what's kind of cool is every transaction teaches me something. And I have been lucky enough to learn from agents that have been in it for over a decade, and they all tell me the same thing, that like you will never stop learning in this industry. I'm like, okay, guess I'll just settle in then.
That's right. Yeah. And that's what's fun about the inspection side, because you're never going to know it all. I mean, we're seeing 200-plus-year-old homes, to new homes, and the different systems, the different styles of construction, the different ways things are done, new materials, technology.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to know it all.
Yeah.
So it's always, you always learn something. So if you like puzzles, it's a good job to have if that's what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you going to do the rest of the day?
I've got some numbers to run, and then some real estate reviews to get together and get them out in the mail so people know how much equity they're sitting on. Just in case.
I need you to go find some buyers and put that on your to-do list today.
All right.
Get some homes under contract.
All right.
Yeah.
Need you to find some sellers. People wanting to sell, you let me know.
Courtney, does your mom want to sell her house? No. I tried. That was my attempt.
Appreciate you. That's all I can ask, Yeah.
You got anything else?
I don't think so.
Yeah? Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, see, it wasn't so bad.
It wasn't. No, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I told you. See, you're all stressed out about it.
I just don't like the cameras.
She's texting me at midnight talking about, is this live?
The panic. The panic was real. It was very real. Yeah.
That would be our poll question for the day. Is the panic real?
Is the panic real? Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to do this every week?
No.
That's hurtful.
Maybe once a month.
Once a month? Okay. All right.
Maybe we should do it every week, though, to get me over my camera fright.
Yeah, that's right. I'll just have Courtney follow you around all day with the camera.
Or we could do that.
Yeah.
Then we could post that, and people will be like, never mind, 3% is definitely what she earns.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll warn you, though, Courtney can be mean and bossy. So.
Oh, that's all right. I think I might need some of that.
Yeah, you think that's all right. Yeah. See, we had a new guy, and I said, you're not allowed to talk to the new guy. You might make him cry.
So I didn't talk to him.
So here we are.
Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Good.